Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Steel City Knives. Right, we're going to be looking at this knife today. Now, I appreciate I've been bombarding you with Sheffield knives and my Sheffield trip. So don't get me wrong, I will carry on showing you them. But I'm not all about Sheffield knives. I love knives from all around the world, and Zolligen being one of them. So this was part of my selection for my February EDC. So if you know my channel, I pick out knives to carry for that month, and this was in that selection. So, and the knives that I select, I try and do the odd video of one of them along that month. So this fitted the bill brilliantly for my mate Gunslinger Cow's open tag. So his open tag is single bladed slicers, and this fits the bill perfectly because this is a single bladed stockman. So if I just show you that the shape of the pattern there, and if we use this Chinese made Queen one here, as you can see, it's the same exact same. It's just a single bladed stockman. So instead of having two springs, we've got one spring. As you can, if I put them side by side, so usually with the stockmans you have this square ended or the round ended. These are both square ended. But yeah, and if I use Cow, so Cow gifted me this beautiful little case stockman here. It's exactly the same shape and, as we call them, patterns, but just a single bladed version. So it fitted the bill nicely, I thought. Right, should we go over the knife? So what I'll do, I'll show you the knife, the dimensions, the makeup of it, and then what we'll do, we'll talk about the history about Robert Klaas and a little bit at the end, shall we? But yeah, so this is a lovely, so the price first on this is brilliant, really. It was £56. I bought this from Knives and Tools. And yeah, just an absolutely brilliant knife for the money, really. It's got a slight bit of gapping on the back. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. Just a slight. Other than that, fit and finish is absolutely perfect. Straight down the middle for the centering, and the hafting is done absolutely spot on. We've got these beautiful snake wood covers. Snake wood's actually one of the most expensive woods in the world. I think that's really due to the rarity of it. So it only really grows in the coastal sort of areas in North and South America. So I think that contributes to why it's so expensive. But yeah, absolutely stunning grain, and like I say, it just looks like a snake. But yeah, absolutely stunning covers. Really good gentleman's carry. Looks really classy. So closed length on this is 8.5 centimeters. That's about, it's a 3 3/8 inch closed. So they do it in two sizes. I've got the small, I think they call it the mini. Then they do a larger version, which is 4 inch, is closed, and that's 10.2 centimeters. That's closed. So should we have a look at the blade? So the blade is a very high polished clip point, as you can see there. We've got this really nice nail, long nail pull, long pull, should I say, and then a swedging there, but no swedging on the other side. High polished, and the blade steel is 1.4034, which is a very commonly used steel in Germany, in Zolligen. It was developed by the Germans in sort of 1912 to 1914 is when it was created and developed. It's essentially a 420, but it's their recipe of it, as you will. But yeah, very decent steel, really, like I say, very proven and commonly used in Germany. So if we have a look at the tang stamp here, we've got Zolligen, Germany, and then we've got the Henning Roost, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. But yeah, lovely pull on it, and really good walk and talk. Really nice. It's just a really beautiful, nice knife for the money. So this one was 56, like I said. The larger one is only slightly more. It's 59.95, and that's at Knives and Tools. And the blade length on the larger one is 8.2 centimeters. That's about 3 1/4 inch blade. So I went for the smaller one. It just fits my hands nicely. It's nice as a nice little pocket knife. I just like the size of this one. I went for this one, plus being a little bit more cheaper. But the fit and finish is spot on. Like I say, the hafting is very good. The only gripe is that slight bit of gapping, but very marginal. Like I say, centered really well. No blade wrap, and beautiful walk and talk. It's just a really well made knife. Right, should we delve into a bit of the history of it? Right, should we talk about the history of it then? So, and first I need to apologise because when I present these knives, they're always a bit marled up or got a few scuffs and all the rest of it. I really need to learn to polish my knives up before showing, but this is a user for me. And what a user really, and that's what I mean. I think being a UK resident, or even if you're like in Europe, we've got so many phenomenal knife brands that are really still so affordable. I mean, this was, 50 odd pounds, and you're getting snake wood covers. If you find snake wood covers on any other knife, it's really going to fetch a pretty penny, but to get it for 50 odd pounds is an unbelievable bargain. Right, so should we talk about, Robert Klaas and Henning Rooster, a lot of the knives are made in China now. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They look brilliant. I don't own any. I'll show you a few now. So these are some of the ones that are made in China, both Robert Klaas and just Henning Rooster brands. They do look a well-made knife, and I know a lot of YouTubers collect them, and they do seem really well put together. Now, to distinguish one between, so the Zologen, if it's got a Zologen tang stamp like this one has here, that tang stamp is fiercely protected. So unless it's made in Zologen, it won't have that stamp. So that's one way of knowing that it's made in Zologen. Now, this is where it gets even more confusing. Some of the Henning Rooster knives are made in Spain. Now, they are very well put together, and I wish, I'm not 100% certain, but I don't think they have Spain on the tang stamp. They should really, because Spanish knives are absolutely phenomenal and really well put together. I'm not saying, like I say, not saying the Chinese ones aren't, but it's just nice to distinguish between them all. But yeah, so this is a Zologen made knife, and I'll show you some of the knives that are still making in Zologen, because there are some phenomenal ones, and I've got one on order. I've had one on order since sort of, I think it was November, October time last year, and it's still not arrived. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for that. They could be really busy, which I hope is the case, or they could have sort of downsized their operation, which I'm hoping it's not that one. But I keep being reassured that it will be coming to me, and I've not been forgotten about. So, and it's going to be, I can't wait to show you. It's going to be a really nice knife. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. Right, so should we talk about the history? So Robert Klaas are one of the oldest knife makers in Zologen, they've been going since 1834. They got the Kissing Crane stamp in 1896. Now, I've heard this, I'm not 100% certain if it's true or not, but Robert Klaas and Kissing Crane were two separate companies, and then there was a marriage that took place in 1869, and it sort of brought the companies together, and now they are one, so to speak, since 1869. So if you find a tang stamp sort of pre-1896, then it might have just been the Robert Klaas company on its own. See how knife history gets really confusing. Why I love knife history, when I reach for this knife, which is quite often, it's a very commonly used tool, knife history makes me look at a knife in a different way, and it really does. It sort of can invoke emotions and all sorts of stuff. It really does add depth to the hobby. I really do believe that. And so Robert Klaas are in their 7th generation of owning the business. So that's phenomenal. So it's been a family-run business for 7 generations. So you can't talk about Robert Klaas without talking about Henning Rooster. Now, essentially, they were rivals for a lot of their history. But Henning Rooster were really well thought of. When you sort of do a bit of research on them, they were seen as like the top tier of Zologen cutlery. They really were thought of in high regard. Now, such high regard that they also made knives for a lot of other companies. And one of the companies that they made knives for was A.G. Russell. Now, if you don't know A.G. Russell as a company or as a person, go out there and look into him, because he is an absolute legend in the knife world, and so is his wife. He made knives, designed knives. He was on several Hall of Fames. He created a knife collectors club. He's an ambassador for custom knife makers in the USA. He was a big push on for them. A lot of knife makers, custom knife makers, speak of him in such high regard. He did a lot of things for the knife world. He's an absolute legend. and he made some phenomenal knives. But he loved Hen and Rooster, absolutely loved. Now, he's passed away, unfortunately, but if you have a look on the A.G. Russell website, he has a little video on there where he talks about Hen and Rooster, and the passion and the love he has for the company is phenomenal. And so much so, he actually bought the company. So he had a knife made from them in 1974 for his Knife Collectors Club yearly knife, and it was a baby Barlow. I'll show you the picture now. But yeah, phenomenal knife. And then they sold the company in 1975, and A.G. Russell actually bought the company. Now, unfortunately, he didn't have it for very long, and it was in the right hands as far as I'm concerned. And he, like I say, he had such love for the company, but he had to liquidate the company, and they closed the Zollegen factory. So he closed it in 1980. So he only had it for 5 years, and then in 1983. James Frost and Robert Klaas bought the logo rights, and I believe James Frost bought the rights for it in the States and Robert Klaas bought the rights for it in Germany. So I think they share that, and that's why Robert Klaas have that Hen and Rooster. So, you know, it's only since 1983 that Hen and Rooster was associated with Robert Klaas and the Kiss and Crane brand. But I love learning about the history of it, and there's so many good videos on YouTube about this topic, but I always think it's important to reiterate the story, keep it fresh, and keep doing it. And because there's always new people coming into the hobby, and it just keeps it fresh on everybody's brain. And it's the history side of it. Honestly, adds so much depth to the hobby, and it makes you look at knives differently, I think. Anyway, that's enough from me. But thanks all for watching. I'll get some of my Sheffield videos together and the knives I bought in Sheffield. And yeah, I've still got Ian Rankin's collection to go through. And I'm not 100% certain if you want to see the last lot that I bought last year from the auction. But let us know anyway. So hope everyone's doing okay, and I'll see you on the next one.